We have two important programs happening this year. One is the International Startup Festival, which is happening in the month of September, 26th to 28th. It's happening in the same campus where we are having a press conference. In fact, we started this idea of having the startup festivals about 2 years back. One of the main reasons for that is, whenever I used to go to US or Europe, keep talking to a lot of CEOs, CXOs, CTOs, and because this fear of the generative AI, chat GPT, they're going to take away jobs, I started asking, is it a paper kind of thing? Is it really going to happen? Most of them, almost 90% of those people, they said, yes, the tsunami is going to come. Then I was in Singapore last year attending a Thai Global Summit in Singapore. There, all the who's and who's in the world, like Vinod Khosla and all the top venture capitalists and CEOs, CXOs, they were all there. There, they released a report of World Economic Forum report on future of work. In that clearly they mentioned, the World Economic Forum report, that nearly 80 million jobs are going to be taken away by the automation, all the tools, whatever your this thing. At the same time, they mentioned about 60 million new jobs are going to be created using the generative AI and AI related. So AI is going to spread all the sectors. And again, they said the people who can get the jobs in the next 5 years, unless they have cross-domain skills, they will not be able to survive and they will not be able to get any jobs. That's one data point. Second data point, I was in US about a month back. I don't want to mention the name of the company and the name of the person. He is number 2 in a big multinational company. And in his keynote, he mentioned that this year, it seems all the Ivy League institutions in America, either undergrad or postgrad, they were all US citizens. Still, the moment they say, I am BTech computer science or any IT related, industry is saying no jobs, no internship. At the same time, when the student mentioned, I did mechanical engineering, aeronautical engineering, they are all getting good jobs and good pay packets. That's another very scary thing. Today itself it is like this. Next year what is going to happen, you can imagine. What sectors, journalists already being hit in Europe, most of the journalists lost the job because generative AI can write a report. Just you tell the incident, it will write that report in a perfect English or whatever. You make a little bit modification. In fact, in India, with 1.5 billion population, all these 30-40 years, because thanks to IT services, whether you are BTech, second class, third class. So Amir paid to America used to happen at a big scale. Today that story is coming to an end because we can't do any of the testing jobs, we can't do any programming this thing, and it's going to be a difficult situation for India to handle. And there was a report recently that in India, about out of 7 million jobs, 1 million jobs are going to be removed, existing IT services jobs. That's only beginning. So on both sides, working employees in IT services company, they are losing job at a big scale. At the same time, youth who are coming out of the colleges, fourth year or third year engineering, they don't have any hope that they will get a job because they don't have domain knowledge. So on both sides, India's unemployment rate is going to go up. So that really bothered me. All these years we enjoyed in India because of IT. The same IT is going down. Then how do we take care of the employment? That's when I thought about why not we create jobs through the startups. Fortunately in India, startups are growing. India, with 1.5 billion people, and majority of them have got smartphones. And all of them are digitally connected. Wherever you go, you go to remotest village, the way they use, I was there in Tokyo, they were asking cash payments in one of the hotels. Whereas in India, see, all the farmers and the people, street vendors, they are using all the technologies. So that is a great opportunity for startups. Earlier, all the startups used to go to Silicon Valley. Why? There's no market in India. Now, US startups, they want to come to India. We had recently a conference in New Jersey, and how many US startups presented to us? About 10 startups. And they want India market, they want money from India. So India now both on the investment side, there are a lot of investors are there, and market, India market is very big. And the way our policies or recent budget, they removed angel tax. They know that potential for startups. So that's the reason why I thought, we should focus on creating more startups, making them successful. Suppose every year, say we have 50 unicorns coming from Pan India. They will create whatever jobs required and all that. Only thing is, are we going to create jobs who are eligible to work in those startups? Because all the startups, they work in cutting edge technology. That's where now we are figuring out that we are going to create ISF Gurukul. We are going to select the best training companies as part of our ISF Gurukul, and for existing employees who are working in testing areas and all that, we will bring them to that Gurukul, and we will give them the domain knowledge. We will also give them the AI knowledge, and it is not done by a professor teaching in the class. We will give the problems to them. They have to learn everything by going through the YouTubes and all that and by solving that problem, they should learn the new technologies, prompting engineering, domain knowledge. Everything will happen. Automatically, they will get a job. So that's for the existing people who are working in the industry. For the freshers who are about to come out of the college, we will start from third year engineering. We will take them, and through the same kind of mechanism, we will sharpen their skills so that there will be queue of people who wants to employ them. Fortunately, even the startup world, everybody wants to come and establish their development center in India, because India cost of operations are still lower and available to the people. So there is a 80-20 principle. 20% of the manpower will be in countries like US and Europe and all. The 80% they want to come to India. So that way, if we can create the right kind of manpower through this ISF Gurukul, we will be able to service the new startups, and their startups also will succeed. They not only create new jobs, plus they are creating the wealth for the nation. The first conference, it happened in Bangalore. First conference, 2,000 startups competed for the prize money. Out of that, we selected about 150 companies we selected for the demo day. And out of 150, we selected 15 companies. So after the conference is over, most of the CEOs, CXOs, we ran that conference using only WhatsApp, no email, no even we were not having domain name and all that In one month, we ran that conference. So everybody was leaving. Then I told them, don't leave. Actual story begins. Conference is only a trailer, Bahubali's trailer. The actual picture Baki. What? I gave the same dialogue to them. Stay on the They asked me why we had to stay. The conference is over. Everything. No. There is a picture actually begins now. So I requested them every Saturday, 8:30 to 9:30, we will present one of the selected companies out of 15. Each one will give a 1 hour. Normally in competition, what happens? Only 10 minutes only is given to them. In 10 minutes, many people are not able to explain. So once we gave 1 hour, they were able to explain what is the problem and whether they want money, they want market access, they were mentoring. So all the companies who are selected now, they are doing very well. I'll tell one example. This startup company based out of Hyderabad, promoted by 2 Air Force pilots. They thought that the flight simulators are imported today at a very, very high cost, $10-15 million each flight simulator, because they were pilots in the Indian Air Force. They thought they can create flight simulator at lowest cost. So they created that using their personal money, maybe 7-8 crores they spent, and they were one of the shortlisted companies. So after listening to their full story, me and Dina, we wanted to go and see whatever they're talking is real or there is anything missing. When we went there, though he was in a small shed in Balanagar area, Actually, we stayed in that this thing. We saw how that simulator is working. They had good software, electronics, and all the mechanical and all that this thing. I mean, everything's working. So whatever was missing for them, though they have a product, they don't know how to take this product to their customers. Unfortunately, all these prospective customers are defense, aerospace, or all that this thing. So they are the ones who import those simulators to train their pilots, either fighter pilots or commercial pilots and all that. They were not able to reach. Then I said, look, I mean, I'll talk to my contacts, this thing. I spoke to Director General of DRDO, and he was coming for a conference in Hyderabad, in what is it, Taj Krishna opposite, Taj Deccan. Then he said, Chaudhary, I am coming with a lot of senior people from like ISRO chairman, and all those people are coming. You bring them, I'll ask them to stay in one room. I will bring one after the other, and they can listen to the story, and then afterwards see how we can support. So that happened, and this entrepreneur was there in one room, one restaurant, one corner is taken some this thing. I started pulling all those people from the conference. And all of them, they listened to the pitch. They got fully convinced, and they sent within a week's time, right? The ADA director from Bangalore, along with his team, came and visited their facility. And today, he is getting a lot of investments, and he is very bullish about his company to become a unicorn. This is just one example I am giving. So we don't end up with the conferences. We handhold, see that how he is going to be successful. If he is not successful, he cannot create jobs, he cannot create wealth for the nation. And our conferences, not only in India, when I wanted to take all our selected startups to other countries, those countries asked me, sir, we also need your help. I asked him, why you need my help? Sir, India is a very big market. All our startups, this particular happened with Australian startup incubator. Sir, our Australian population is very less. Our startups are not able to get enough traction on the customer and revenue. Whereas India, consumerism is very high, and we will have a lot of prospects if only you connect them to India. Then I said, okay, it's a good win-win thing. Then we changed our foundation. Initially, it was India Startup Foundation. We made it to International Startup Foundation. And also, our Honorable Prime Minister always says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. So why not I start helping the startups from Australia, Singapore, or America, and also take our startups to those countries. It's a kind of a barter system. So that is working very well. We had several conferences in London, conferences in US, conferences in Jamaica, and many more conferences in Europe are going to happen next year. So whatever we believe, we are actually making it practical and showing to the people how we are helping startups. We created ISF Angels. Last conference, first day of the conference, we closed 150 term sheets. They're all early stage startups. Otherwise, they wouldn't have got any money. Today, they are all doing well. So that is our strength. We don't give the lip sympathy. We will make sure that those startups are going to get all the support and all that. So third conference, our flagship conference is happening in Hyderabad on September 26th to 28th. More than 500 CXOs, including Cognizant Global CEO, and all the such people are participating in this conference. Many VCs, international VCs, Indian VCs, and angel, they are all participating. Apart from that, our Honorable Chief Minister Revanth Reddy Garu also going to be chief guest for the inaugural function, and our Honorable IT Minister is also confirmed. And Honorable Civil Aviation Minister Ramo Naidu is also coming for the plenary. And Honorable Deputy Chief Minister agreed to inaugurate our expo of ISF. Plus, he is going to be there for the awards ceremony as the chief guest. So like that, because everybody feels that we are doing something good for the nation. That's the reason why we are getting support. And the second one, which is again a very, very important thing, what we are doing, is a unique thing, first time in the world, that rural startup bus Yatra. In fact, our last conference was also rural. All panel discussions and round tables were all around rural. Because I believe how startups will be successful unless they solve a real problem. Where are the problems? Problems are not in the cities like Hyderabad. Problems are in the rural area. More than 60% of the Indian population still live in the rural area. I, as an agriculture farmer, I faced the problem of labor shortage, and one startup says, I will fix this problem through a robot. It is already getting done. So, every problem in the rural area is an opportunity for a startup. That's when I decided, let's not focus on urban areas, but rural area, there are no mentors, there are no investors, and we have to make sure that they create opportunities for themselves, opportunities for the nation. That's when we thought, we'll concentrate on the rural India. That's when we thought of taking all the investors, CXOs, global CXOs, about 1,000 of them already confirmed to come and participate in our the first ever this kind of experiment called Ankur Yatra. We don't want to get restricted to one state, though we are doing it first time in Andhra Pradesh on October 2nd. Honorable Chief Minister of AP, he is flagging off. We are expecting about 20-25 buses will be there, full of entrepreneurs, and selected startups will also be there, so that they will have some networking happens while traveling in the bus. So that's going to happen. So Telangana government also requested us to have a similar kind of rural startup bus yatra. So we decided to have it in the month of December. All the entrepreneurs from state of Telangana, from US, Europe, they're all coming to participate in that. And we are getting requests from other states also. Since our bandwidth is limited, we want to do this first two. Afterwards, we'll see whether we can take this model to Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Kerala. All these chief ministers are also requesting us whether we can do the same Ankur Yatra in the respective states, making sure that those rural people, they get the opportunity to start an enterprise, start a startup, get the funding so that they are successful in creating new jobs in the rural areas. So I request all of you to participate in our ISF conference, as well as I request in each bus, I request at least one media person, so that you see whether J. Chaudhary is telling only stories or is actually happening, because you have to witness that. Request all media persons also to join our volunteer group, because whatever responsibilities that we have as a citizen of this great country, you also have the same responsibility. We are not doing these things for any visibility or money, no such thing. All our volunteers, though they have their own companies, they are giving 80% of the time to ISF without expecting anything from ISF. That's the reason why we have not employed even a single employee.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jay is a very tough act to follow, so and I think it's my bad luck that I have to speak after him. So he actually gave you a very, very good, overarching view of what we are doing in ISF. We are also a startup, so I'm very thankful for Jay that he left that part out. So I'll cover that. So we ourselves are a startup. We are probably the most unique startup in the world. We are a startup with 0 employees. So I will cover one part of the ISF that I get very focused on, and I think that's a very, very critical part of how these startups will essentially derive value from this entire network, not just from ISF, but all the people involved. We actually onboard startups with an intention to help them. And what kind of help they need? They typically need 2 or 3 different types of help. One, if they have an idea, they're getting their product out, and many of them are in very early stages. They actually want some customers to try that out. And usually in this country, we have this culture that if somebody is a startup, somebody wants to help them, they say, oh yeah, you can do this free. So we actually encourage the people who want to help them, saying, don't just give your place to come and, put their product and show it to you. Buy it. You may or may not use it entirely, or sometimes it's a loss. Sometimes it may be a great, useful product for you. But let us get away from the culture of asking something for free from a startup. And this has actually led to a very different culture in the startup world right now. Otherwise, majority of the reason why startups were failing in India is all their early customers whom they thought were good sandboxes, were good beta customers, where they could get a prototype done. They were all demanding that for free. Now they're saying, in their form of help, they can pay a little bit. They don't have to pay the full price, but they pay a little bit. So one, they're becoming sandboxes, they're becoming testing grounds, they're becoming beta customers, they are the paid pilots for the startups. And that's a great help for startups. It's not always the funding. Now, that's the second part, right? So the next part is the money, right? So to do anything, for startups to hire, for many big companies, it's difficult to hire in this country. Now you can imagine the plight of the startups where, when they have to find critical talent, and they're working on cutting edge technologies, very different ideas, things that people are not used to. Right? So you need a very different type of workforce talent. So they need money for that. So the second is the capital. So we actually arrange funds for these startups. Jay mentioned this. We actually have a network called ISF Angels, where many HNIs contribute into these funds. It's not charity. They're actually investing in these startups. They get an equity share in those startup companies, and they take part in their success. And when these startups have difficult time, they also become the supporting system for them to find their next bit of money or next set of customers. And then the mentors, the most importantly, when these startups, they are being a startup not because they know everything, but they know a few things. They're very passionate. They're driven by their idea and their inspiration on what they want to do. But that doesn't mean they're good in every aspect of business. So they need a lot of mentoring from people who have seen this from various angles, and they actually advise them at the right time, saying, this is the right way to do it, this is the wrong way to do it. I know somebody who can help you here. We can actually send you to a system or a place or a company where you can actually get the right kind of help you need. This mentorship. So these are the three things. There are a few others that we do, but these are the three critical factors. Now, how they happen, and that's what Jay was mentioning, that is our mantra. It happens, how we do it. We just do it by connecting. We say, if you're looking for as Jay mentioned about this defense company, right, we'll connect you to DRDO. And if you are another type of company, we'll connect you to that kind of a customer base, or that kind of an investor base, or that kind of a mentor. So that is the first part of our mission, connect. And then, usually it doesn't work when you just connect. You send a phone number by WhatsApp. Very few people respond to those things. And in fact, a lot of the startups also are very junior people, as I said. They don't even know how to approach people, senior people. They're intimidated. They'll first say, hello, sir. Well, say something after that. You can't just stop saying, how many of you get these messages saying, hello, sir? So we actually train them. Look, when you go and ask sincerely for help, ask openly. This is the situation I'm in. This is the help I need. That's the part. And then even that doesn't automatically happen. We have to set a system of collaboration. That is our second part of the mantra. You connect them first, but don't just stop there. You create a mechanism. In fact, today what we are doing is part of that. We actually bring in a whole lot of people and say, now let's start talking to each other, and this is collaboration. Now the third is a celebrate. Now between collaboration and the celebration, there has to be some success. And that we make it very clear to everybody. We asked all of you to be volunteers, we asked all of you to be participating in this, but not just for the namesake, right? So make something happen in the middle. And that's when we actually have a reason to celebrate. So, and that has been happening for 3 years now. And my, aspiration and request for all of you is that it's exactly 2 months between now and the date of the conference. When the first day of the conference is 26th September, that is when in this particular campus, there will be 100 startups who are handpicked in 20 different sectors. They will be sitting in front of the potential investors, potential customers, the CXOs of those companies, and potential mentors. All of them will actually be pitching in to help them. So they would have seen some of their stories first, and they will collaborate obviously on that, and they'll make it a success. So in these 2 months, we need to pick the best of the startups in those selected sectors, mentor them, curate them, and bring them on the day of 26th. And at the second half, when we actually get to the other side of the pitch sessions, we're believing that we're going to have 100 reasons to celebrate. So with that, I'll hand it off to... Okay, so I'll give some statistics. So when we started our very first conference, we just had 40 days to the day of the conference. So we actually onboarded 2,000 startups, and about 1175, if I remember correctly, they actually came to the second round, and the third round was 150. Out of the 150, we selected 15. But this time we go to the second year, we became super popular. So we had about 10,000 plus, I think a little over 10,000 startups who actually approached one way or the other, registered and saying, we want to come and pitch and try and raise money. So that was 10,000. And the similar numbers, we selected the top 100, and we worked with them to make sure that all of them are funded. If not by us, by somebody else, right? So the reason is, the point is that they have to become successful. They have to get funded. And this year, we already have exceeded 50,000 identified startups. I don't think any, thank you. I don't think any event in the startup ecosystem in this world is able to achieve those kind of numbers. Out of that, we have already screened upwards of 7,000 startups, and we have given them a yes or no. So it's not an easy process. You know, it goes behind the scene. There's a lot that happens through systems, tools, people, volunteers, and we do actually get professional companies to do all this evaluation, etc. And we are pretty sure by the time we get to 26th of September, we will have the top 100 startups that are ready to be funded. In fact, not just ready to be funded, we actually, some of their funding requirement would have already been met with our system in place. That will be the day to close their funding, not to begin their funding, right? And then we pick up the next batch of 100. So this is a year-long process. Conferences come and go. This year conference is, number one, is a reason for us, is a place and a location, a date for us to celebrate the past year's success, and we're doing that. We will be finding those 100, and we'll all be celebrating their success, and it just goes on. And we have, just the DPIT registered startups, we have more than 1.2 lakh startups in this country. And all those million people who lost the job, as Jay mentioned, guess how many people these 1.2 lakh startups employ? They actually employ 12 lakh people. So when they lose this on this side, somebody is there to gain on that side, right? So unless, and Jay is absolutely right on that point, where if at all anything can save this country from that upcoming mega transformation driven by AI, driven by the geopolitical situations, and there are so many things that are contributing to this process, startup is the way to go. Because these startups, and there are 1.2 lakh registered, there's almost an equal number, and you'll never know the exact number because they're not registered, right? So there will be almost double that number who are not registered. And when they see the success of these startups, they will come into the system. And when they collectively employ 10, 20, 30 lakhs of people, that is a major employment sector in this country. Nothing else can come close, right? So I think it's very, very important with that view in mind. And I do request all the media people, there are some very, very influential people from the media here, and we request your help to take this word all around.
So first of all, thanks for all the press and media and all the volunteers for coming and joining here. While Jay and Dina has explained you why we have started this startup conference and what's going on in the pitch sessions. See, there are a couple of other components in this conference. One is the basically conference event by itself, and there is an exhibition is also taking place. One of the finest startup exhibitions in our country, which we are planning to do here. And in our last year's exhibition, we have seen more than 10 plus international pavilions has been set up here. And this year, we are expecting 25 plus countries are ready to participate in our expo. Along with this, we'll have our state pavilions and startups from the early stage, idea stage, growth stage. Everybody would be participating. So this would be a great opportunity for the startups to showcase their products, services, whatnot. Along with this, there is another opportunity which we are providing is to launch their products in this big stage. Any startup or any growth stage startup, they want to start their new products or services, it would be a great stage for them to showcase their products and launch their things. Coming to the conference, we have more than 15 plus roundtable discussion topics that we have identified. Some of them are the burning, or I would say the upcoming sectors like agri-tech, of course fintech is there, consumer tech, energy tech, VLSIs, health tech. While these are the discussion topics, we are also doing a unique roundtables such as Junicorns. I would ask Jay sir to describe more about Junicorns thing.
Thank you for bringing the topic. మీ అందరికి తెలుసు కదా, తెలుగులో ఒక సామెత ఉంది, మొక్కే వంగంది మానవ వంగదని. సో నా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఏంటంటే, చాలామంది బీటెక్లు, ఎంటెక్లు, పిహెచ్డీ చేసిన వాళ్ళని కన్విన్స్ చేసి క్రియేటివిటీ సప్రెస్ అయిపోయి ఉంటుంది. మన ఎడ్యుకేషన్ సిస్టంలో ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ వాట్ దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఈస్ దే ఆర్ సప్రెసింగ్ ది క్రియేటివిటీ of the student. They are all good when they join the colleges and all that, but our mechanism, they are suppressing all the creativity. So what is happening now, the people who are studying in schools, that's why we kept 8 years to 18 years as a Junicorns. And I'm getting the requests from all over the globe. Lot of people who are already demonstrated their entrepreneurial spirit. From US alone, there are about more than 10 such students who are studying in the schools. They already created products and all that. And similarly from London, a lot of people are coming. India also, a lot of such students who wants to demonstrate their the capability to create new age startups. So my gut feel is India is going to produce more unicorn from that Junicorns. So we are creating a new club called ISF Junicorn Club. Like any other clubs, this thing, from all over the world, whoever wants to be an entrepreneur, this thing in that age limit, they will get some of those privileges because we are going to connect them to the investors and mentors, all that we will be doing. So that's one prediction what I am thinking. The second one is, my prediction is future unicorns or sunicorns will not come from cities. They will all come from the rural background. Maybe from Hyderabad, some unicorns may come. From Anantapur, some unicorns may come. So that is the kind of thing which is happening because they have a lot of problems to be solved. They got more fire in their belly. They wanted to prove something. So these are the indicators. That's the reason why we have such roundtable conferences. And this is a very important roundtable. The other one is, the other roundtable which is very, very important is the Rural Economic Forum. Like World Economic Forum, see, World Economic Forum, every year it happens in Davos, and they take the same conference to other countries. Whereas our REF, Rural Economic Forum, we are going to concentrate on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Like removing the hunger is one such goals out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So far nothing really happened in a sustainable way, though United Nations announced this a long time ago. So we want to pick up Rural Economic Forum, pick up one or two of those things and experiment in India, how they are going to really remove all the problems in that particular segment and have all the standard operating procedures. Then we'll train other states and other countries how that can be done. So that's another important roundtable called the Rural Economic Forum Roundtable. So we are not picking up all the routine fintech and all that. They will be there. Startups point of view, they want some network connectivity and all that. But this new dimensions and the new way which is going to happen, we are catching them early on so that these people are positioned to create more unicorns. India should beat Silicon Valley because we have all the plus points to make our startup companies from the rural area, from young people in the unicorns and all that. And we have big market, very big market. There may be funding issue in USA, but in India there is no funding issue. Like I mentioned, first day of the conference, 150 term sheets for early stage startups. This never happened in any conferences anywhere in the world. So that's our strength. My friend Dinanath mentioned about three things: connect, collaborate, and celebrate. Right? Connection we are doing through the festivals. Like Sankranti Muggullo, ఏం చేస్తారు ఫస్ట్ చుక్కలు పెడతారు. చుక్కలు పెట్టిన తర్వాత ఈ చుక్కలను కనెక్ట్ చేస్తే మంచి ఫిగర్ తయారైపోతుంది. సేమ్ థింగ్ ఐఎస్ఎఫ్ ఈజ్ వీ గాట్ ఎక్స్పర్టీస్ ఇన్ కనెక్టింగ్ ది డాట్స్. ఎవరిని ఎట్లా కనెక్ట్ చేయాలా సో దట్ సక్సెస్ ఆటోమేటిక్లీ హ్యాపెన్స్. సో కనెక్షన్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. Collaboration, everything we can't do it. We need other players to collaborate with ISF so that as a whole we can do well. So one such collaborator who has come forward is Mr. Balaji Reddy. He is executive director at Vamshiram Builders, and let him talk about what component, how he is going to help the startup ecosystem.
Thank you, Jay Garu. As he rightly said, Jay Garu is a good friend of mine, and I have been watching their growth story for a long time, for last 2 years about ISF. So I have also traveled worldwide, and I have a passion towards empowering this rural youth and the startups. And we are now planning to launch a new entity called International Startup Network, ISN, which will be the world's largest incubator, and which will house all the startups, mentors, investors, corporate connects. All this will happen under one roof, like a super big area, which will be the largest such incubator in the world. And this will happen in the near future. And thanks to Jay Garu for offering this. All the ISF startups which have been selected, they will be housed in ISN. We are signing an MOU today. They are our first partners to collaborate in our facility. And we already have initiated with 2 such people in the world. The second largest company accelerator program. They are planning to launch Enterprise and AI soon in January in India. And they have partnered with Microsoft and Google already for this program. They will also be housing in our facility. And the last thing, this will be a hub and spoke model, as Jay Garu has a passion towards rural areas. We'll be doing district level incubation centers in all the districts. When they complete the bus rural Yatra, where they select startups, they did not come to Hyderabad or anywhere. They can just work from their own district and connect to global network with the investors and with the corporates to grow their business. Thank you so much.
We are taking this concept globally. As I mentioned, he is going to create virtual and physical world's largest incubator facility. He says this will be much better than Y Combinator. Everybody knows what Y Combinator has done. I was saying every entrepreneur wants to get into Y Combinator so that their valuations will go up and all that. So he says this will be kind of a Y Combinator plus. That's what he's trying to do. So this is the first collaboration with ISF on with key component ISN is going to bring to ISF. So I really want to thank Balaji Reddy Garu for coming out with a great initiative which goes very well with what we are trying to do. Thank you, Balaji Reddy.
This will be the game changer not for ISF and ISN but for India.
Now I want to introduce another key component is the investment. So Srikanth is raising about $108 million, and he has been our volunteer right from the day one, and he is going to be collaborating with ISF, see that the investments, only problem with Srikanth is minimum ticket size is he says only $5 million. So I had to figure out how to get smaller checks for the early stage startups. So I request Srikanth also to say how Srikanth Venture Capital is going to help us. Srikanth, though your VC fund is minimum ticket size 5 million, you think of getting at least $500,000 or this thing to introduce that component also, so that we can help many more startups. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. So my name is Srikanth. I'm a founding partner at 108 Capital. We are a SEBI registered Cat 2 AIF. But very importantly, as sir mentioned, here as a volunteer for ISF ever since it started. And all that I can tell you that, we've been part of this journey over the last 2 years. It's a fantastic platform for entrepreneurs, investors, mentors to actually come, collaborate, connect, and celebrate, right? That's what we actually stand for. And with the kind of collaboration that we just saw with Ram sir, I think this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people, because it's very difficult to kind of have everything on one platform and have access to also. And most of us, of course, have our day jobs, but all of us are very passionate about supporting this ecosystem, and that's why we are here. And of course, be it from 108 Capital or even otherwise, as we said, we have a large network of mentors and investors. All of us are here to actually help out startups in a meaningful way, right? And it's also therefore the onus is on you, the startups, to actually make yourself look good in front of investors. And that means that you'll get a lot of support from our mentors and everybody to prepare you for the day, right? And which is what, Dina is doing. So this is a very serious platform. Don't think that, you will probably just walk in and get away with money. It's very important that you do your bit, and therefore then leave it to ISF. And that's the way we build credibility, right? That's very important for any organization in terms of sustaining it. So we expect the same from startups and mentors who are part of this network. Thank you so much.
Another important component is how do you take this concept international? So that's where Mr. Sheshadri is the co-founder of International Startup Foundation, and he shown me only less than a trailer in UK. Last year when he invited me to London, the way he organized meetings in House of Lords. House of Lords, only parliamentarians and country heads, they go and attend those meetings in House of Lords. For ISF, he gave that platform. All the ministers from British Parliament and many parliamentarians also attended that ISF network conference event in last year. Not only in London, he has got tentacles in entire Europe. I don't know which are the countries. Once I gave him a job, he is 24 hours on that. I don't know how he takes care of his other company requirements. Let Sheshadri tell about what is the recipe formula, how he is able to do that.
Thank you, Guruji. First of all, it's all your blessings and wishes. That's what I'll say. So I say, first of all, how I got it's close to about a year and a half for me in this mission, ISF, where I always say this, and again, I know it's stereotype for many. In my Chedi days, I used to see Jay sir building this, all we see, whatever it is in. So I never found after that anybody who was doing selflessly, I mean, with due respect, something in. So all the energy, that's where. And I have been lucky, while everybody used to say, I know Jay sir, they've been there 20 years, 15 years, 20. I say, when I will have that kind of a thing, and it's been from the last 1.5 years. So I'm the podium. I'm also blessed with him day in, day out, learning a lot of things. Secondly, I want to thank all our volunteers here, right? Because, sir, the volunteers are not only media, you said, even men in uniform. I said the armed forces in Bangalore, they all committed that they will also be part of volunteers in this. That's from Defense, Naval, Army, Defense, Naval, Air Force. So that's one thing. And yes, of course, while many of the details have already been there, I said, what is ISF? Everybody was asking me, what is ISF? ISF is a movement led by, obviously, Jay sir, and also many of the volunteers who come from all the way. I said, we are not always saying we are not-for-profit, that's always there. But again, we are a non-event management company. We don't do anything in conferences in 5 stars. We do all conferences in the Chinta Chetukinda Telugu Valaki Ardhamaithe, or Banyan Tree, Neem Tree, no cruises, high expensive cruises, doing pitches there and all that. This is what we see regularly. Our mentor, whenever he has said, we are always doing that. So you'll see very different, like we are talking about this Ankur Yatra, we'll see very different style of things. This is what the actual India has been there, our Bharat has been there. So we all know that, I don't know how many of us know, Bharat has shown the world there. We always say, whenever somebody else says we are a developing country, we are killed. I don't think we are already a developed country. The 0 to infinity was all from us. Whenever I go to the Cambridge, Oxford, when I go to I see the manuscripts of our Ramanujam or someone else, hamara billi hamar ko mil raha hai abhi. So I don't think it's all the mindset. So last but not least, what AI for me? Action in India. With this, thank you. Again, please all come to
The schedule is September 26, 27 and 28. 26th is completely dedicated to the pitch sessions. While Deena said, we are already filtering the top 100 startups, and these 100 startups will have a demo day where they are going to pitch live in front of the investors. So that's day one. And day one, we also start with the expo inauguration. And day 2 and day 3 are all these roundtables, which will be. Yeah, on day 1, in the morning, the expo is being inaugurated by Deputy Chief Minister, and in the evening, we'll have a Chief Minister who will be the chief guest. Along with him, we'll have a couple of union ministers. One is IT Minister of Telangana. Yeah, and Global CEO of Cognizant, Mr. Ravi Kumar, is also going to be with us as a chief guest. So on day 2, we'll have various roundtables, as we mentioned, which will be straddled across 2 days, health tech and all those stuff. And The most important thing what we are doing for the past 2 years is we are doing lifetime achievement awards who has done an excellent work in their sectors. So this time we are giving lifetime achievement awards for more than 20 people. So that is what we'll be doing on day 2 plenary session. And on day 3, we will continue to have more roundtable discussions. And one of the important things this year we are doing is something very similar to TED Talks and an Indianized way of, we are doing an ISF Talks. People who had done an excellence in their sectors are going to talk in a freestyle way that will be useful for all the startups. So this is all straddled across 3 days.
Yeah, I'll tell you how the whole idea started. When we were in Jamaica, we were having a dinner in the evening. So there, one of the participants who came from Vijayawada, during the discussion, sir, I have a bus which has got all the modern amenities like a big LCD screen and a round table. So this, you can use that bus for your conference and all that. For conference, why do I require a bus? Then immediately I thought, why not we have a rural startup bus yatra? That's where Jamaica actually wants that the concept. The idea came during our Jamaica visit. And because I strongly believe rural India has to be supported big time now. Farmers are still committing suicide. There's no hope for many people. And the remaining people, they are all getting into drugs and alcoholism, and they are getting free money. There's no incentive for them to do something and earn money on this thing. We are making them totally lazy and parasites. If you leave it like this, I think rural India will become a big liability for the nation. And once we stop that money going to them through direct benefit transfer or whatever it is, this thing, then there will be revolution from rural India. So only solution is how do we convert them from that this thing to make them a respectable entrepreneurs earning their own money. Then they don't take all this thing. So then rural India also will come up to this thing, and there's no difference between Hyderabad. Like yesterday, Honorable IT Minister was telling, they are planning to create mini Hyderabad's. Warangal will be mini Hyderabad. Hyderabad can be mini Hyderabad. So that means whatever infrastructure in a limited sense they are trying to create, automatically the entrepreneurs in that area can make use of that. So with that idea, we thought of taking this bus yatra. So what we are doing, this bus yatra is not people who are coming from USA, Europe, Singapore, they are all coming. They will anyway see what they can do in that. So what we have done, suppose if I come from Anantapur, I will be in that Anantapur bus yatra. We will all go, all the CXOs, investors from Anantapur who are all from different parts of the globe. We will go much before bus yatra starts, and Dina and his team, they are conducting the business plan competition in that area, whether agriculture startups, healthcare startups, rural finance startups, all these things, I mean, they are going to, his team is going to conduct, and we have selected host institutions at every location. The host institution has to take care of their responsibility, not only their students and their startups, this entire zone, they will be conducting all that. And they're supposed to finish all that, selecting the at least 10 good startups from that zone before we go to that's a city or town or village, wherever it is. And 30th of September, the local ministers, for example, Kakinada, our Honorable Deputy CM of Andhra Pradesh, Pawan Kalyanji, agreed to be the chief guest to flag off. Not only the flagging off, we requested him to give the awards to those selected because they'll get inspired. If they are getting something in their own town, getting an award or recognition from people like Pawan Kalyan, they will, their excitement will be boundless. So that will happen on September 30th. This is hub and spoke model. Simultaneously, on the same day, Anantapur bus yatra will happen, Vizag bus yatra will happen, wherever we have Kakinada, Rajahmundry and all that. And all the buses with the entrepreneur selected companies, they will all come to Amaravati on 1st of October. And Amravati, Honorable Chief Minister, agreed to give at least 1 or 2 hours depending on his schedules. He will interact with these startups, and also he will interact with all the people who are coming from different parts of US and Europe, and he is going to take the commitment from them. Okay, you have come to participate. How many jobs you are going to create in your area? We have got a project called Project 100. In 100 days, they have to first show their commitment, whether they have invested in some company or created some jobs in their districts. So only those people will be in our next bus yatra or whatever activities. So with that kind of a commitment, all the buses will be flagged off on Gandhi Jayanti, which is October 2nd, by Honorable Chief Minister. Why Gandhi Jayanti? Because Mahatma Gandhiji believed in rural empowerment and rural industry, all the cottage industry, all those things. He wanted to do it. But unfortunately, we sidetracked, and we only took care of public sectors and the cities kind of for this thing. That created the imbalance. Today, nobody wants to stay in the rural area. Unfortunately, nobody wants, good people, nobody wants to stay in the villages. That trend is not good. We have to reverse that this thing. So that's one of the key things why we have taken up this rural startup bus yatra, not driven by the government, driven by the industry. So all these buses on 2nd, once they are flagged off, they will all go to Sri City. Why Sri City? Sri City has got a lot of manufacturing companies. These startups, they need business, right? If only we are giving the money, there is no business, they will not be able to. In Sri City, one day completely we are going to have, and Srini Raju is organizing meetings with all the manufacturing companies like Foxconn, and so many manufacturing companies are there, Hero, all these companies are there. So they are going to come and give a presentation where they need help from the startup companies. What are innovative products that they can build for them? So that gives an opportunity to break the main thing for the startups to get the business. So after that, we will all go to IIT Tirupati. There we will be giving all the prizes, final prizes to all those people. And that is the last leg of our journey. See, actual bus yatra starts on October 2nd, the main bus yatra. But before that, preparation, like people will go to Kakinada on 30th, that program has to, these things, take the selected people, all the CXOs, they all have to travel to Amravati, and Amravati having discussions with Chandrababu Naidu Garu. Then next day, this thing, they will follow this thing. Same thing we are going to do it for Telangana state in the month of December. Same pattern we want to do it. Once we successfully complete these two, then we will go to other states where they are already requesting. I don't want to go to them unless we have all the procedures are standardized, and we have to produce the results. Just by taking bus yatra for a visibility sake, if there are no results are coming, I don't think that's a correct model. So we want to see how the results are coming. Then with all that, this thing, we will go to Uttar Pradesh and Chhattisgarh and all the Madhya Pradesh and all that who are requesting us to this thing, because whole India, we need to serve the rural India. That is the main concept, and this is the first time in the world. In fact, Guinness Book of World Records, the team, they want to join us in the bus yatra. They want to see really all the CXOs are coming from US. If so, they want to enter this into the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, we are already on the drawing board, and next 4 to 6 months it will be up and running maximum. And we have already initiated discussion with global players to house their accelerator programs and startups here. And this is the first MOU we signed to collaborate with ISF.
Yeah, as I was telling earlier, the future is going to be rural. Not only in India, any country, because the majority of the population, they still live in the rural area. In India, more than 60% of our population still in the rural area. Unfortunately, because they are not getting a support, migration is happening and cities are getting crowded and all that. We want to stop that. Create these opportunities, like the minister, the honorable minister was telling, mini Hyderabad had to be created. Similarly, mini Vizag had to be created in Andhra Pradesh, so that they have the complete social infrastructure, then digital infrastructure, other infrastructure, so that they'll be able to think of, for example, Joho Corporation, multi-billion-dollar company, they do products only in their company. You know where they do the recruitment? Only rural India, that to 10th class or 12th class. In fact, when we met Sridhar Vembu, when we wanted to invite him to come to Visakhapatnam, so Honorable Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu garu requested them, I'll give whatever land you want on the top of Rishikonda Hills overlooking the ocean. Why don't you set up your development center? Then Sridhar Vembu said, sir, we don't want any land whatsoever in Visakhapatnam, but we want land in your Kuppam constituency. Then Honorable Chief Minister said, Kuppam is not developed. Then what is that? No, sir, we want only in such places. We hire only rural people, either 10th class or 12th class. Then I asked Sridhar Vembu, why rural people, 10th class or 12th class, are there in urban areas? Why are you not able to take those people? Then he said, JSR, the urban students, they live in air-conditioned homes, they travel in air-conditioned buses, their classrooms are air-conditioned. In some international schools, even playgrounds are also air-conditioned. Their minds are all conditioned. We don't do any IT services, we develop innovative products. We want creative people. Whereas in rural area, those children, they don't know whether they can go to the school next day. They don't know because there are so many conditions which they are not certain about that. That's the reason why we want to take rural boys and girls, and they are creating innovative products, and we are one of the largest companies in India producing the products. అందుకే కదా ఐటీ ఫోకస్ లేకుండా స్టార్టప్ ఫోకస్ తీసుకొస్తున్నాము. ఇది ఒకందుకు మంచిదే. ఇప్పుడు ఒకనొకప్పుడు ఇండియా ఆల్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఇంక్లూడింగ్ జీరో దే ఆర్ ఆల్ ఇన్వెంటెడ్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. అంటే మన భారతదేశంలో అవన్నీ ఉన్నాయి. కానీ మనకి ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు వచ్చేసి ఇక్కడ మీరు ఏది మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చర్ చేయకూడదు, అన్నీ యూరోప్ నుంచి ఇంపోర్ట్ చేసుకోవాలా. దే ఫోర్స్డ్ us to become slaves. That's why I keep joking. Our IT services is like a slave industry. సో మనము ఆ బానిసత్వ దీని నుంచి ఇప్పుడు బయటకు వస్తున్నాము. ఇంతవరకు ఎందుకు ఐటీ సర్వీసెస్లో మనం బాగా చేసామంటే మనకు ఆ మైండ్ సెట్ తెలంగాణలో ఏదో అంటారు కదా బానిసం దొర, రైట్? అందరికీ ఆ మైండ్ సెట్ ఉంది. ఎవరైనా చెప్తే ఇప్పుడు అమెరికాలో కంపెనీ చెప్తే సార్ మీకు ఏం చేయాలి సార్ అంటే వాళ్ళు చెప్తారు. అప్పుడు వచ్చి వీళ్ళు కోడింగ్ ఏదో చేసి వాళ్ళు పంపిస్తారు. అదేం వర్క్ అది? కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఏ స్లేవరీ వర్క్, రైట్? వీఆర్ నాట్ ప్రొడ్యూసింగ్ ది ప్రోడక్ట్. వన్స్ అపాన్ ఎ టైమ్ మనం భారతదేశంలోనే అన్ని కనుక్కునేవాళ్ళు. ఇప్పుడు వీఆర్ ఫోర్స్ టు గెట్ ఇన్ టు ఏది ప్రోడక్ట్స్ అండ్ ఇన్నోవేటివ్ థింగ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్. దిస్ ఈజ్ యాక్చువల్లీ భగవంతుడు మనకి ఇచ్చిన ఆపర్చునిటీ. అంటే జాబ్స్ గిబ్స్ ఇక్కడ కూడా వస్తాయి, కానీ ఇక్కడ వచ్చేటి ఎలాంటి కంపెనీలు ప్రోడక్ట్స్, అవర్ ఓన్ ఇంటలెక్చువల్ ప్రాపర్టీ. దెన్ ఒక కంపెనీ ఒక గ్రేట్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ తయారు చేస్తే ప్రాబబ్లీ వీ కెన్ బికమ్ ట్రిలియనర్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సిచ్యువేషన్. ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ కానీ గూగుల్ కానీ ఇవన్నీ కూడా వాళ్ళ మార్కెట్ క్యాప్ అంతా ట్రిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ డాలర్స్లో ఉంటుంది. మనం వై నాట్ వి క్రియేట్ దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఎ కంపెనీ? దానికి ఈ స్టార్టప్స్ ఎకో సిస్టమ్ మైండ్ సెట్ వాళ్ళకు సర్వీసెస్ మైండ్ సెట్ నుంచి ప్రోడక్ట్ మైండ్ సెట్లకి తీసుకొస్తే, అండ్ దట్టు మనకు ఏ దేశంలో కూడా లేవండి ఇన్ని ప్రాబ్లమ్స్, ఇన్ని ఆపర్చునిటీస్. అందుకే మిగతా దేశం వాళ్ళంతా ఏమడుతున్నారంటే మా స్టార్టప్స్కి మీ ఇండియాలో మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ చూపించండి. ఎందుకంటే ఇంతమంది పాపులేషన్లో ఇప్పుడు ఒక అడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏంటంటే రూరల్ ఇండియా ప్రతి ఎలక్షన్స్ అప్పుడు వాళ్ళ చేతుల్లో చాలా డబ్బులు వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆ డబ్బులు వాళ్ళు కొంటున్నారు, మాల్స్ కొంటున్నారు, దాంట్లో అంతా. సో కన్స్యూమరిజం యాజ్ పర్ ది రీసెంట్ సర్వే 10 times increased in rural India. That's a great opportunity for startup companies. ఇదివరకు రోజుల్లో మన వాళ్ళంతా పొలవమని అమెరికా పోయేవాళ్ళు, ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడేం మార్కెట్ లేదు, ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేసేవాళ్ళు కూడా లేరు. ఇప్పుడు అవన్నీ మన దగ్గర ఉన్నాయి, వేరే వాళ్ళు కూడా మన దగ్గర వస్తున్నారు. ఇట్స్ ఏ వన్ వే బ్లెస్సింగ్ అండ్ డిస్గైజ్. అందుకని ఆ స్టార్టప్స్కి అనుగుణంగా మ్యాన్ పవర్ లేదు. ఇప్పుడు ఆ మ్యాన్ పవర్ తయారు చేయాలి. మనకున్న మ్యాన్ పవరు ఐటీ బీపీఓకి కేపీఓకి పనికి వస్తుంది, కానీ ఈ న్యూ ఏజ్ ఇండస్ట్రీ, న్యూ ఏజ్ స్టార్టప్స్కి పనికిరాదు. అందుకనే ఐఎస్ఎఫ్ గురుకులు ఎందుకు పెడుతున్నామంటే ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ స్టూడెంట్స్కి వాళ్ళు నష్టపోకూడదు. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి తెలుసో తెలియకో బీటెక్ కంప్యూటర్ చేస్తున్నారు, వాళ్ళు అదే విధంగా ఉంటే ఉద్యోగం దొరకదు. మరి ఆయన తప్పు, అబ్బాయి అమ్మాయి తప్పు కాదు, మన తప్పు. So we have to create some training modules so that they are transformed to suitable for startup companies. అది స్టార్టప్ గురుకుల ద్వారా చేస్తున్నాము. సో దీనివల్ల నేను అనుకోవడము, ఇందాక దీనా కూడా చెప్పాడు, దాదాపు ఎన్ని లక్షల జాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయంటే ఆల్రెడీ వీ హ్యావ్ హౌ మెనీ మిలియన్స్ ఆఫ్ జాబ్స్ త్రూ స్టార్టప్స్? ఆల్రెడీ 1.2 million జాబ్స్ స్టార్టప్స్ ద్వారా. అది ఇంకా 5.6 millions లేకుంటే 10 million చేసేందుకు అవకాశం ఉంది. ఈజ్ నాట్ జస్ట్ వన్ కంపెనీ. ఆల్రెడీ దే ఆర్ మోర్ దాన్ 120 స్టార్టప్ 1,20,000 startups రిజిస్టర్డ్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. దట్ నంబర్ ఇస్ గ్రోయింగ్. ఇప్పుడు మన హైదరాబాద్లో అండి లాస్ట్ 5 yearsలో 2 unicorns వచ్చాయి హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి. In 5 years, how can they produce 8,000 crore company? 2 unicorns, Genote and Darwin Box. అలాంటి యూనికార్న్స్ వచ్చాయనుకోండి, హైదరాబాద్ ఎకానమీ ఈజ్ టేకింగ్ కేర్. సో అది ఆపర్చునిటీ మనకి. ఒక రకంగా భగవంతుడు ది ఫోర్సింగ్ అస్ టు గెట్ అవుట్ ఆఫ్ కేపీఓ బీపీఓ ఆ జాబ్స్ నుంచి రెస్పెక్టబుల్గా చెప్పడానికి ఇండియాలో మేము ప్రోడక్ట్ చేసాము. ఆల్ ఓవర్ ది వరల్డ్ దే ఆర్ యూజింగ్ దిస్ ప్రోడక్ట్. వై వీ హ్యావ్ టు యూజ్ అదర్ ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఇన్ ఇండియా? సో ఆ ఆపర్చునిటీ మనకు వస్తుంది. దాని ద్వారా ఎకానమీ బాగుపడుతుంది. తర్వాత జాబ్స్ కూడా విపరీతంగా జాబ్స్ వస్తాయి. మేము రూరల్ స్టార్టప్స్ ఎందుకు అంటున్నాము? వాళ్ళకి అక్కడ ఉద్యోగాలు క్రియేట్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పుడు అగ్రికల్చర్లో వాళ్ళు ఏమి సంపాదించుకోవటం లేదు. అందుకని అందరూ ఫ్రస్ట్రేట్ అయ్యి టౌన్స్కు సిటీస్కి వెళ్ళిపోతున్నారు. మేము అట్లా కాదు, మీకే అక్కడ ఆపర్చునిటీస్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాము, అక్కడ జాబ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, అక్కడ ఎంటర్ప్రెన్యూర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం, అక్కడ యూనికార్న్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ అవర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. దట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు హ్యాపన్.
ఇప్పుడు అంతా అమెరికా నుంచి అమీర్పేటకు వస్తున్నారు. రివర్స్ ఏంటంటే అమీర్పేటలో స్టార్టర్స్ పెట్టాలి. మేబీ బాలాజీ సార్ కెన్ థింక్ ఆఫ్ అమీర్పేట్. ఐ థింక్ మేబీ వీ కెన్ రివర్స్ ద సైకిల్. సో బేసికలీ అందరూ ఇప్పుడు యాజ్ యూ సెడ్ ఎవ్రీబడి మొత్తం అమెరికానే కాదు, మనం మాట్లాడితే అమెరికా ఆడతాం. అమెరికానే కాకుండా చాలా దేశాలు ఉన్నాయి. అందరూ ఇప్పుడు ఇండియా వైపే చూస్తున్నారు. సో మనకి మీరు కూడా ఇందాక సార్ చెప్పినట్టు మీరు వాలంటీరింగ్ చేసి రావాలి. ఈ న్యూస్ వేయడమే కాదు, మీరు కూడా వచ్చి వాటిలో ఉంటే అందరికీ మీరు హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంటున్నారు. మీరు ఏవేవో న్యూస్లు వేసే కంటే ఈ న్యూస్ల వల్ల మనకు కూడా ఉపయోగం పడుతుంది. టీఆర్పీ రేటింగ్స్ కూడా పెరుగుతాయి. ఎందుకంటే చాలామందికి జాబులు ఇచ్చాం, ఇది ఇచ్చాం అనేది మనకు వస్తుంది. అందరూ కలిసి మనకి చెయ్యాలి. ఒకరితో అవ్వదు, ఇది స్ప్రెడ్ చేయాలి. మన బాధ్యత అది. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ బిఫోర్ దట్ సార్ ఐ థింక్ వీ షుడ్ థ్యాంక్ ప్రశాంత్ గారు ఫర్ ద ఈఎస్ఏ. మనం ఇక్కడ చేస్తున్నాం అంకురాపన ఈ ఇంజనీరింగ్ స్టాఫ్ కాలేజ్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఈరోజు ఎందుకు పెట్టామంటే వారు ఎంతో ఇక్కడ కన్వెన్షన్ సెంటర్ కొత్తగా వస్తుంది. నేను ఇందాక మీకు చెప్పినట్టు మన 5-star హోటల్స్లో వీటిలో పెట్టాం. మనదంతా ఈ కాలేజ్ 150-100 years చేస్తున్న ఇంజనీరింగ్ ఇది అండి. సో ప్రశాంత్ గారు వారు ఇక్కడ ఇది. సో ఇట్ యా
Thank you ISF. Actually this is all great goes to our director sir, Dr. Rameshwar sir. We welcome ISF. We see this is going to be a grand success.
October 2nd జరగబోయే అంకుర యాత్రకి ఒక థీమ్ రెడీ చేశామండి. ఎలాగైతే October 2nd మన గాంధీ జయంతినో మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు మన అంకుర యాత్ర బస్సుని డ్రైవ్ చేస్తున్నట్టుగా ఒక థీమ్ రెడీ చేశారు. సో దీన్ని ఇప్పుడు జయ చౌదరి గారు అన్వీల్ చేస్తారు.
సారథి గారు యాక్చువల్లీ అంకుర యాత్ర ఈ పోస్ట్ చూశాను. దాని ఎయిమ్ ఏంటి అంటే రూరల్ ఎంపవర్మెంట్ ఎలా చేయాలి అనే ఆ పోస్ట్ చూసినప్పుడు నాకు ఒక ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ అనిపించింది. దానికి ఒక మెమోటో లాగా చేస్తే ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఒక మాన్యుమెంటల్ స్కల్ప్చర్ కూడా చేస్తే ఎలా ఉంటుంది, దాని గుర్తుగా ఈవెంట్ గుర్తుగా ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్స్ కైండ్ కాబట్టి అనే ఆలోచనతో ఇది చేశాను. దీన్ని మేము మ్యూరల్స్ లాగా స్కల్ప్చర్స్ లాగా కూడా రిలీజ్ చేస్తాం దాని గుర్తుగా.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartup TV.